it is Jocelyn Alyse, that mindset teacher, encouraging you to change your thoughts so that we can change the world. Teacher friend, today we are going to talk about a few things that I do over the summer to prepare for the school year. So one thing that we as teachers can do to make sure we are prepared once the school year starts is to start thinking about those first few days of school. Y'all, I am not gonna lie. Those first couple of days will always stress me out because I felt like there was so much unknown, so much time in the day, and typically my curriculum or my pacing wouldn't start until after the first few days of school. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these kids for 2 whole days or for 3 whole days or for a whole week before we really jump into our content? So being able to really kind of think out and plan out what are some activities or some things that I can do with my scholars within the first few days of school. And I feel like these first few days are so important because it really kind of lets the students know what's important to you. So if I take the time out of my day, the first day of school, to focus on growth mindset, then my students know that is something that I value, that is important for me. Or if I come in on the first day and I have no idea what I'm doing and I am flustered and I am all over the place, my students will see this as an opportunity to say like, okay, this class is a class where I can come in, not be prepared, or I can come in and because my teacher isn't prepared or isn't where she needs to be, I can begin to interact and do some things that I probably ain't got no business doing because she's not on her P's and Q's. So I feel like it's just like that saying, what is it, like your first impression is your last impression. So thinking about how do I want students to see my classroom on those first few days of school. Now, I will say this, there is so much chaos that happens or things that we just learn aren't working on the first day. So maybe they had in the schedule that we're supposed to switch classes at 8:30 when class is supposed to begin, but our scholars don't trickle in until 8:45 or 8:50. And so we make a decision as a team to say, okay, let's transition at 8:50 instead of 8:30 or whatever it is. There are like little kinks and things that we have to work out. So it's not like your day will go as planned, but I have activities that like literally I could just pull out and like, okay, let's go, let's do this. So that way I am stacked and I always over plan for the first day of school. The next thing that I would suggest a teacher to do over the summer is to think about their procedures, especially if you already know about how your school runs and what the school rules are. This would be so beneficial. So I would create a anchor chart paper version of my procedures as well as a digital version of this that could be linked in Canvas, or if you want to drop it in your Google Classroom, so that way students are able to access it. I am so big on giving students access to things, allowing them to be able to have that resource and not be dependent on me. They don't have to say, Miss James, what was this, or how do I? They can literally see these things. They are at their fingertips literally all the time. So I like to be able to post those resources somewhere for students. Having that digital version will allow you to do that. And then as we talk about it in the class, now I don't really keep these things up like all year round, but definitely as we talk about it as a class, I'm being able to refer to it inside of the classroom. And as students get used to these procedures and things, I will go ahead and take those down and put like content-based things up, but allowing for them to see that around the classroom as well as seeing it digitally where they can access them all the time. Some procedures that are super important, especially if you are an elementary teacher, is like, how do you want your students to line up? Do you want to call them by rows? I have like different line procedures based on what point of the day it is. So typically I will just like call like a certain row or a certain group to go ahead and line up. And that's typically how we will line up if it's like during the day. But when we are transitioning to another class, or we are transitioning to get ready to go home, I always have my cleanup crew, our friends that work on cleaning our classroom spick and span. I have those friends walk around and they check areas and like they tap desks to tell the students like their area is clean, they can get up and line up. So different procedures, however you want the class to run, I would start to think about that. So thinking about lining up, thinking about entering the room. What are students gonna do when they enter in, when they're packing up, when they are going to lunch or to the cafeteria? How do you want students to know like it's time to line up at recess? I know some teachers that will blow a whistle and then they wait for their students to line up in a specific spot, where I know other teachers that might yell out and just say, okay, fourth grade. And when they are walking and they just start walking towards the building, and if the students aren't with them by the time they get to the door, then there is a consequence that has to be upheld. So it's literally, what do you think will work best for you? And this might change based on what will work best for my scholars. So maybe my students just aren't catching on when I'm yelling out to them. So I walk around for a little bit and put my hand up, or whatever it is, whatever you want your students to recognize that it's time to go, it's time to line up, and thinking about the different parts of your day. I always think about how I want students to transition because I use workshop. How do I want them to transition between different groups? How do I want them to view their schedule? What procedures do I want to have in place when students are inside of those groups and they're not with me? So really kind of thinking about all of those little parts of your classroom, how your classroom is going to run. And if you brainstorm these procedures, because one thing, knowing what those procedures are or having an idea of what you want those procedures to be will be so much better than walking in blind. Having no procedures ready for your kids, like when you walk into that building, will lead to chaos. It 100%, no doubt in my mind, will lead to chaos. So thinking about how you want these things to run and getting those things down, and even if it's not where I've created an anchor chart or anything for it, but even just thinking about them and writing it in a journal so you have an idea of what you want to say to your scholars. The last thing that I feel every teacher needs to do over the summer before they enter into their classroom is to think about their classroom management system. Y'all, this is major key in keeping order in your classroom. Thinking about the incentives that will push students to engage in learning in your classroom. And I say incentives because we do not want to focus on the negative. We don't want to come in and already lay out like all these different consequences for students. We want them to know that we have high expectations for them, and when they meet those expectations, they will be rewarded. We are making learning worthwhile for each and every student that enters our classroom. And that is not to say that I don't believe in consequences or discipline, but me personally, in the first couple of days of school, I don't want to focus on that. Now, I want them to know that there's a consequence for every action, but I am focusing on, when I am talking about my classroom management system, the things and the rewards and stuff that I will give students to incentivize learning and make it worthwhile for them. The classroom management system that I love to use is Class Dojo. I feel like everybody knows what Class Dojo is at this point, but if you do not, it is a learning management system where you as the teacher can give and take away points from students. So each student will have like a little monster. I love how they can go in and they can design their monster. This is actually something that I, again, make students work for. So they have to earn the ability to change the way their monster looks. So I have that as like one of my dojo shopping things. We'll talk about what that is in just a second, but they can go in, they can change the way their monster looks, Parents can connect to Class Dojo. They can actually do assignments and work. You could actually put work into Class Dojo. I think that's pretty cool. I've never actually used that. I have used the Dojo Journal where students can write inside of there. And I love how it allows parents to see the writing and some of the work that students are doing. So I absolutely love Class Dojo. And so as students earn points throughout the week, I would let my students dojo shop every Friday. I will have different incentives that students could get, like teacher chair for the day, lunch buddy. They had like a choose your own seat, stuffed animal pass, show and tell pass, different things. Y'all hear all the stuff that I'm saying? Free 99. It's free 99. You didn't even have to go out and buy a whole bunch of things. I used to think, and I was really big on Treasure Box, and I do still have Treasure Box. Actually, Treasure Box is one of the most expensive things in my dojo shop. But students can literally pick all of these different things that bring them joy and don't hurt my pocketbook. So I had like so many different incentives in there. I did have Treasure Box and candy that I would give to students. I also did something where I had chill pills, and I would tell the kids, I'd be like, okay, you guys, these chill pills help to maintain the mood that a student is already in. So if someone is being really good, I could give them a chill pill and it will help them to stay in that current state all throughout the day. And so you couldn't get a chill pill if you were acting crazy. You had to be presenting behavior that was good in order for you to get a chill pill. And this was literally, I opened a bag of Skittles and poured it into there and poured it into a container. And those were chill pills. And literally, kids would go crazy for one Skittle. I'm giving you one Skittle. They will go crazy. And I noticed that was like, instead of going and buying the mini candies where I feel like I would have to buy so much candy all the time, like literally giving them that one chill pill really helped. And with COVID, y'all, because this is, I'm going into the 2021-22 school year. And with COVID, it is kind of difficult to do things like that. So I don't know how, or maybe if I want to, I thought about transitioning to Tootsie Rolls because they are individually wrapped, but also mad cheap. So I thought about maybe doing Tootsie Rolls instead of chill pills this year, or Skittles this year, just to give them like a quick incentive, or a like, ooh, I really like what you said, and not just dropping the points on them, but also giving them that instant gratification as well. So these are just some things that you can think about and how you want to incentivize learning inside of your classroom. I know students enjoy just praise as well, just saying like, good job, or you must be so proud of yourself, or I am so proud of you, or that looked like that took so much hard work and you rocked it. So just giving them that praise is also an incentive. Kids love it. And even if like they act like they don't, they really do. So don't let them fool you. So y'all, these are just a few things that I feel I need to do over the summer to make sure I am comfortable and ready to start the school year. Y'all, I hate feeling frazzled. I hate feeling like I am unprepared or I don't have things done. So getting these things done for me are a must do. That way I feel confident and I feel like I know exactly what's going on in my classroom, especially with all of the chaos that comes with back to school. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I love you and have a blessed day.